Hey guys, got a little package today from Trijicon. It is the first look at their new MRO, their miniature rifle optic. Now, I'm pretty excited about this optic, so I wanted to give you kind of a high-level view on it. Now, I know a lot of questions are going to come out automatically, so I want to try to squash those. Everybody knows I've been running Aimpoint for quite some, well, since the original first Aimpoint came out, the T1 that is. Now, I've been running Aimpoints in my career for a very long time. And the reason why I like this optic so much is because there's nothing that's been competitive in the Aimpoint space as far as some of these key checklists that I'm going to go over of what I look for in a miniature red dot optic. So again, this is a first impression, guys. I just pulled out of the box today. Haven't even mounted it up yet. Haven't even fired around through it. So this is, I guess, kind of part one to a two-part series where Monday we're going to take this out to the range and we're going to put it through its paces. Again, it's only one day, but we're going to do some visual tracking, optics drills, some zeroing, a couple other things, pointing at the sun, see if you can see the LED chips and all that stuff inside. We'll get to that, so stay tuned if you want to see how it performs on the range for us. But right now, again, just a high-level view of this optic, and since nobody's probably seen it yet. So, now, this optic, there's a couple things that I look for, and I want to go through this checklist in order again. The first thing is durability. This is a Trijicon optic. Now, we know from the other Trijicon optics out there, like the ACOGs and some of their other optics, the SRSs, the RMRs, their VCOGs, they're all, again, especially the ACOGs, are combat-proven optics. I have no question that this is going to be the same exact thing and the same exact quality. You can even see kind of that forged housing that they put this optic in. It's very similar in a kind of an aesthetics to the ACOGs, but it's a miniature rifle optic. So again, checking the box there for me, green check box, that this is going to be most likely combat proven optic out of the gate. The second thing that I look for is battery life. Again, that's one of the reasons why I run the T1 and the T2, because it's got a 5-year battery life, as like Aimpoint will tell you. And on the spec sheets for this optic, same thing, 5 years. Now, I don't leave my optics on for 5 years, obviously. I change them about once a year, but I leave them on all the time. So if my rifle's in my car, my vault, whatever, it's always on. I pick it up and I go. I never have to worry about auto shutoffs. I never have to worry about that, that weird feeling you get before you go out of the helicopter. You're going to go through a door and you want to look down and check that optic to make sure it's still on, like some of the optics I've had in my past. So again, checking the box there. Looking forward and excited about keeping it on constantly and then testing that battery life. Now, I'm sure Trijicon's obviously tested that, but obviously end user feedback and human interface testing, as I call it, is really going to tell all. The next thing that I look for is size and weight. So size and weight compared, again, I'm going to compare it to the T1 since it's the only other optic in its class I think it's competing with here. It is slightly taller, and it's only slightly taller, about a 1/2 inch, but I can deal with that because the power authority switch here, this switch on top is what's giving it that extra height. But instead of being on the side, you still have the same material obstruction, so it's really not affecting your eye relief. The second place that is slightly larger, or I should say substantially larger, is the objective lens. You're looking at a 25mm objective lens, which is obviously substantially larger than the T1 or T2. And they kind of followed the SRS design here with this cone-shaped optic. So as I look through the ocular lens back here, and if we again compare it real quick, the ocular lens is even slightly larger, about 1/8 inch to I'm not going to go into caliper specs here, but about 1/8 inch wider on the rear, and then it opens up to that 25mm. So as I look down the optic, I've got this extremely wide field of view, which is really nice. So I can turn that optic and have a much clearer field of view. So that's the only, I guess I don't even want to call it a con, because you're getting benefits with that extra size. This thing's kind of a mixture of all worlds, because even if you look at that objective lens again, if you measure that out 25mm, that's almost the same as this Aimpoint Comp M2 or M4 on the front, but you're getting that small T1, that micro miniature rifle optic, construction. The weight, if you want to put it on a scale real quick, this is a T1 with a LaRue throw lever on it. That's coming in right at 6 ounces. The MRO is coming in at about 5.9 ounces. That's with Trijicon's lower 1/3 high mount. Now obviously they've got a low mount, they've got a medium mount, and then they've got their high. So now, of course, as other companies like LaRue or other great mount companies like ScholarWorks or some of these new companies that are coming up, they're gonna make some really good stuff for this and be very comparable with weight and height there. So that's a good check in the box. I mean, obviously the weight, you can't beat that, and still get the benefits of the wider objective lens, etc., etc. The next thing is going to be, how much power authority do I have? When do I need it? What's the settings on it? So now, I don't have an automatic shutoff, obviously, with this optic. It's got 8 settings. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 daytime settings, and then 2 night vision settings. Now, if I put it to night vision, low, high, and then 1 and 2, which are actually considered daylight settings, they're still it's barely visible to the human eye on setting number 2. If I go to the next notch, you'll see that it has a shutoff switch in between 3 and 2, which is kind of neat, because then I can go right to my higher daytime settings. So if I put it on 3, I've got a perfect, what I would call right now in comparison to other optics, a good 0 brightness. Not too bright, not too dim. Still see the target evenly, still see the red dot evenly. And then if I need more, go up to 4. That's pretty bright. That's probably a good usage setting right there. 5 gets extremely brighter, and 6, you're starting to get that really hot glare, which I guess if you are in a very hot environment, a white environment, or a, maybe your battery's getting a little bit low, you could put it on that setting if you needed to. So that's pretty cool. Plus, it is on top. So as a left-handed shooter or right-handed shooter, I don't have any problems. I don't have to reach over and turn and look at the side of the optic and rotate and see what setting it's on. I can see all my settings right here from either hand. Okay, so that's a really cool setting as well. The other unique feature about this is that there are no caps on this. These are sub-flush windage and elevation adjustment knobs. So you got a flathead adjustment. You can take any tool, or again a bullet, which is of course a mil-spec thing, so you can take a bullet out and adjust it if you don't have any tools. But they're sub-flush, and it's a Trijicon optic, so I've got no doubt again in the durability factor for waterproofing issues. So that's one thing I do take in consideration with any other optic out there that has caps, and you've got that rubber O-ring in there. You want to make sure that that's sealed. It's a fresh O-ring before I take this underwater. So if I was doing dive ops and doing preventative maintenance, I would make sure those caps are sealed, because I have killed a couple of some of the best optics in the world by letting moisture get inside of it. So that's a really good thing you don't have to worry about with this. And it's half MOA, so half inch at 100 meter adjustments. And it is waterproof, dive proof, I guess, if you're looking at amphibious operations, to 100 feet. 25 meters or 30 meters. So I think the T1, T2 is 25 meters, so you get a couple extra feet. Not a big deal there. So that's a really good thing. The only con that I can see on this is mounting solution. So if you're running an AK like Ultimac rail, you might not be able to get it down low enough because of the low mounting solution they have here to co-witness like AK sights. That's the only thing, but where the aim point's going to probably win in that department, to where you can still co-witness your sights. The last big check in the box, I think, is the price point. I mean, you're looking at $575 MSRP for this. That's not map pricing yet, so we don't know. You might find a little bit better pricing out there. Probably going to be some great combo mount solutions you'll see on the market at a really good price, so stay tuned for that. And I'm excited about it. It's been a while since somebody's been able to compete with that small of an optic with all these priority checklist things that I go over. So excited to get this on the range and get you some after action on that on Monday or Tuesday. And we'll see what the new Trijicon MRO's got to offer. I'm Travis Haley. Stay sharp, be safe. Thanks for joining me.